do you want to do the launch night event? Oh,
Yeah.
yes, please. So thank you for proving him right to his publicist. And thank you so much for coming out, for being fans. We're going to have a great time tonight. Please join me in welcoming R.A Salvatore for his new book.
Do I need this? Can you hear me fine, or should I use this?
Oh, yeah.
I can hear you.
Can you hear me all the way back there?
Yes.
I'm the youngest of 7. I can really live it. Yeah, I hate microphones. All right, good. That's not gonna work. Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks for coming out. I appreciate it, especially on a nice day. It's too warm. This is very possibly my last book signing in a bookstore. So I appreciate that it turned out so well. That doesn't mean I'm retiring, despite what Polygon said. So what can I tell you? Finest Edge of Twilight. My favorite part about writing this book is I wasn't under contract when I wrote the book. I wasn't going back to Harper, even though I have the best editor, David Pomerico over there. It just, the problem I was having is that Del Rey has all of the originals. They're doing all the reprints. They do all of the WotC stuff, except my books are at Harper. So if I did a new book for David, and then say they were announcing a Dritz statue or something, right? I'd be all excited, but it didn't help David. It helped Del Rey. You see what I mean? Mm-hmm. So the business part of it was kind of disjointed. And I was really, when I wrote Loth's Warrior, I figured, okay, that's it for now. That's it. But I was working on this webtoon with WotC and this writer named Purpa, who is wonderful. She's just an amazing writer. She does a webtoon called Suitor Armor, which is, I think, like number 1 or 2 fantasy webtoon out there. It's a million plus views. Fantastic. And we were working on a webtoon about Teenage Breezy, Drit's daughter. That's where she got the name Breezy, when we were doing that. And I thought, oh, I really starting to like this character. So I put some guidelines on Purpower where I would let her take Breezy. And we would, every week we were on Zoom, every week going through the scripts and just having a really good time with it. But I didn't have a contract, and I didn't know whether I was going to go get a contract. I would have had to go and sign an extension with Wizards for the license, then I would have had to have my agent go find someone that wanted it, and they would have to make it worth my while to put me under pressure like that again, because I start collecting Social Security next month, I'm already on Medicare, I got 8 grandsons, but I got 8 grandsons, and I got 3 dogs, and I got a wife I adore, and we like to, so I just didn't want that. But I wanted to write about Breezy. So I sat down and I wrote this book. And I had a blast. And if the kids were at the house and they were in the pool, I was in the pool. They said, let's go to King Richard's Fair. I didn't take my laptop. We went to King Richard's Fair. It was just nice and easy, and I was writing when I wanted to write, and it felt great. So I got the book done. And then I said, I gotta sell this. And Del Rey jumped, Harper jumped. I wound up back with Del Rey. I was worried because I was going to miss my editor. David and I had a wonderful thing going. Got a new editor over at Del Rey, Elizabeth, and she is absolutely wonderful. Margaret and Tracy were working with her, and Margaret and Tracy said, Bob, you're going to love Elizabeth. You'll be fine, believe me. They weren't lying. So we got to do the Breezy book. And when I was doing this book, I don't want to talk too long because I want to get a lot of questions in here. You know, that's the best part of this, when people ask you. You tell them what they want instead of lecturing. I hate lecturing. I'd be a lousy teacher. When I do a book, and I've got the new protagonist, right? I mean, Dritz is in it, Caddy Bree's in it, Bruna's in it, Jarl Axel's way in it, and Truri's way in it.
Yes.
I want to see something through that character that I haven't seen before, but I'm aware of. Whether it's what it's like to be judged on sight instead of by the content of your character. Welcome Dritz to the world. I want to see, when I did The Highwayman, a good friend of mine, his brother has cerebral palsy, and you see him walking through town, and he's trying to control his body, and it's really rough. And I want to know, what does the world look like through those eyes, right? What does the world look like for him? What was it like going through school for him, right? Because I know how cruel some kids can be, right? We all know this. That's why I wrote The Highwayman. So with Breezy, I took a little different tact. What is it like to grow up in the shadow of the two greatest heroes of that region of the realms? And in a way, it was my way of wondering, and on a much smaller scale, of what it must be like for like my kids growing up, because they had things like that. I'm not, and I can only imagine what it's like for, you know, for like Tom Brady's kids or some actors' kids, or you know what I mean? And what's it like to try to have to prove yourself and still have people look at you and say, well, yeah, no kidding, look who our parents are, right? And so that was the story of Breezy. And it would have been a lot harder to write, except Breezy's got this kind of cool uncle named Jarl Axel. You don't give a crap what parents is. And so that's where this book came from. And it was so much fun to write, and I think I got to see the world in an entirely different way again, and that's why I write. I don't write for you. I'm glad you're all on the journey with me, but I write for me because it's how I make sense of an increasingly insane world, right? And I was just telling Elizabeth back there. Oh, I'm sorry, Bob back there. She said call me Bob, right? Yeah. I was telling Elizabeth back there. And this last week, 2 of my banks have been sold to bigger banks, so I have to change like debit cards and all the direct deposit. I have a ton of direct deposits from all the different little publishers and audio and all this. I have to change all of that, and it's like I just want to retire. I mean, and they dropped my Medicare Advantage plan. Oh, you can't have this anymore. You got to get a different one. Thanks. You know, I was just looking forward to Christmas season and a trip to Disney or something, and now I get to deal with banks and but that's why I write. I write to make sense of the world. It's getting harder to write. It's getting harder to make sense of the world, but here we are. So that's right now. I'm working on. I can tell you this too. The last book of my Demon Wars series. It's called Fat Rabbit, which is the name of a ship in my Buccaneers series, and I'm having a blast. It's an arms race at sea and they don't have cannons, they have improvisation. And it's really cool. I'm having a blast. The Powies are going wild. For people that know Demon Wars, the Powies are my bloody capped dwarves who are interesting. After that, I have one more book under contract, which isn't announced yet. And after that, I don't know. We'll see how things go. We'll see what offers come up. We'll see what I'm in the mood to write. I won't sign another contract, I don't think, until I know what I want to write and write it. I don't want deadlines. I'm on deadline now and I hate it. Well, I mean, you know, I'm supposed to be writing right now, but this week I'm not going to get any writing done. I'm heading to New York on Thursday for the Comic-Con, and you know, I just don't have that kind of energy anymore to sit and write in a hotel room. Especially since I've been to New York in a year, so I want to go hang out. I like New York. Hate the Yankees, but I like New York. So that's where I'm at. That's what I'm working on. Hopefully the webtoon's going to come out. It's been contract. Everything's legal issues between Hasbro and Webtoon or whatever the company is that does it, and they think they've got it all solved. So the web, if they don't do that, it'll just be a graphic novel maybe or whatever. But they're going to do something with it, and it's fantastic. Perpa did an amazing job. So that's kind of cool. And the other thing is I've licensed Demon Wars to a computer game company that's got this really innovative idea that what they're really trying to test is the ethical use of AI. Meaning you have a writer, the writer can use AI to gather information, the writer curates it. You can't go outside the environment we give it. So for Demon Wars, they'll pump all 14 books into it. They'll pump the game book we did. They'll pump any of my notes into it. That's the only story that the AI is allowed to use. We can't go steal from somebody. The art will be done by an artist or several artists, and they will do the styles, they will do the art. It will go in, and then they will curate. That's kind of what they're trying, and I think you can't get rid of AI. I saw the other day that 40% of the growth in the stock market in the last 2 years has been AI, which means it's going to explode, but somebody's going to come out of it. We're never going to get rid of it. I think that's unfortunate and not unfortunate. It's not unfortunate because for things like medicine, programmers, we're going to sail. Energy technology, we're going to sail. AI is going to be wonderful. For the arts, it's awful.
Yeah.
Yep.
And we all know it is.
Yeah.
For people trying to write a book now, the old school way and self-publish, are going to Amazon and they're putting their book up on Kindle next to someone who's got 30 books they wrote in 3 weeks. And you say, yeah, but those books will be crap. Yes, but here's the problem. Most people, especially younger readers, don't know they're reading crap. And what I mean by that is what will happen is instead of saying, that's crap, I gotta find something better, they'll say, I just don't enjoy writing anymore. And they'll walk away from reading. And that scares the heck out of me. Plus, I've also watched an awful lot of friends of mine, like Todd Lockwood, basically have to reinvent their businesses just to survive. Because no publisher is going to pay an artist what they're worth to do a cover when they can go click, 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 boom, done.
Hey, really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Not to mention Terminator.
Yeah. There might be a market for those books, right? So,
Dritz versus Arnold.
Dress versus, I like Arnold. I wouldn't cut them up like that. All right, so let me open this up for questions. First one's always the hardest, then it gets rolling. Who's got a question? What do you want to talk about? Go ahead.
I just saw online that you said that none of your characters will be in the Netflix show. Is that a blessing for you or not?
No, yes and no. It's a blessing because I'm not involved in it. If I'm not involved in it, I don't want them using my characters.
Yeah.
And it's not a blessing because, guys, come on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But see, I've been kind of a pain in the ass on this too, because like my only thing to Wizards, I say TSR, to Wizards of the Coast has been all along is, if you go do a Dritz show or a Dritz movie and you do new material, you're slapping me right in the face.
Yeah.
I haven't been quiet about that.
Yeah.
If you want to do Dritz, there's a reason why you say you want to do Dritz, and that reason is me.
Yeah.
And my entire adult life of writing. You know? 39 books, 5 cleric books, 40 books now. 5 cleric books, 3 Stone of Tomorrow books, 12 short stories, 2 novellas, right? That's why you're saying you want Dritz. Because I remember one time they were going to do a Dritz story, and they came up with the storyline, and they had the writers feed it to me on, and I was like, no. They started off where Dritz was in the mountains near Icewind Dale, and he was going to be executed by the villagers, right? Because he's drowned, we got to kill him, right? So they were going to execute him. But as the guillotine was falling, he made this great move, and he kicked the blade off and got it, and cut his way out of the village and left a swath of destruction behind him. And I'm like,
No.
Have you read any of those? You literally pick up any of them and know it's not.
wouldn't you just say they should have just killed him?
Yeah.
I mean, no, no. And so I'm terrified at the idea of somebody, you know,
Yeah.
I mean, Dritz isn't about a guy with 2 scimitars who can kill things. That's not who the character is. If you don't know who the character is, please don't touch him. You know? But I hold out hope. Wizards have been great. I mean, Wizards has been wonderful to me. And they hear me when I talk. So maybe there'll be a movie someday, maybe there won't, but who knows. Anyway, who's got a question? Yeah, go ahead.
That polyhedron about the retiring thing.
Yeah.
I mean,
They need clicks. Go ahead.
what you need to. I mean, age, your grandkids, everything else and stuff. And then Finest Edge was just written. I mean, I know you don't know now, or there, and I haven't read the book. I know there's been an advanced copy. Are there any ideas about afterwards? Maybe something that, like you said, when you feel like you get in the mood to write.
Loose ends in life never tie up.
I mean,
So
yeah.
there are always loose ends.
Yeah, I mean, originally we thought, way back when, that we didn't know how far.
I
now
have
it's
thought
coming.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times definitively that was my last Dritz book.
Yeah.
The first 3, because I only had contract for 1, and then the second one was completely different. a completely different contract, whole new negotiation. I was working full-time in finance. So for those 3 books, and then when I left after Passage to Dawn, in a very, very, very big falling out with the editor at TSR. And I was done, they were done, and they were gonna get somebody else to write Dritz. And I won't repeat what I said to them because there are kids here. And that's when I went and did Demon Wars. And then lo and behold, Peter Atkinson and Wizards of the Coast buys TSR. They call me up and they say, Bob, we want you back. And so that surprised me. And then I remember my wife and I had gone to look at a condo in Hawaii. And we were like, we need a vacation home. And I was gonna go into TSR. Now it was WotC. I was gonna go into WotC and I was gonna sign a 10-book deal. And that would be the down payment. We'd get this condo. And I walked in there and the first thing he said to me is, Bob, we're not publishing books anymore. I didn't buy the condo. So I thought it was done then. And I thought it was done after the Sundering. They stopped, right?
Yeah.
And then when they got a new president, I told my agent, go see if he'll license Dritz to me. He needs more income. He needs more revenue streams. This won't cost him anything. And they were amenable, and then 6 more books came out, right? Then I thought I was done then, and here we go again. So just when I think I'm out, they pull me back in. I feel like Sylvia, right?
Well, like I said, we know you're retiring, which is great. I mean, I don't blame you one bit. You're writing for
But I'm
30
not.
years. Yeah, I mean,
Polyhedron wants clicks.
Yeah.
in a
They
way,
want
Social
clicks.
Security says you're retiring, but not yourself.
Well, at a certain age of Social Security, your outside income doesn't matter anymore,
Yeah,
and so
yeah.
then why wouldn't you just take the Social Security check? I've got my eyes on a car I want to lease, and they're gonna. But what does Polyhedron want? Why does it say I'm retiring in the headline?
I know,
Click.
exactly.
Because that becomes news in the genre.
Retiring.
Yeah.
Bob
That's all they
Salvatore's
ever
another
do.
book out. Well, that's only been 75 times before. Bob Salvatore's retiring. Oh, this is different. Click.
Yeah.
That's what they do. They
Yeah.
do this all the time.
Yeah.
I actually did an interview once, and we were talking when I was working with 38 Studios, and we bought big, huge games, and they were asking me about Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning, the Reckoning game.
Oh,
Big,
yeah.
huge game. It was
So
an awesome
good.
game. They did such a good job on that down at BHG. And I was saying, yeah. And he's like, what do you think of all the names? And da-da-da. Oh man, I hate that stuff. My brain doesn't process that with names, you know, because I was having these like nightmares back when I first read Dragon Riders of Pern. Dragon Riders of Pern, the first 3 pages have 400 names, right? And I'm like, I can't do this. My brain won't hold this. And so I just made this offhand joke about it, and the headline was R.A. Salvatore hates the names, big huge games, Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning. I had to issue a public apology to the guy because I love the game. And the guy, it was actually Greg Tito, who wound up working for Wizards of the Coast and doing Dragon Talk, right? And Greg, he's a friend. I've done panels with him at conventions. I'm like, Greg, what the F did you do to me? And he says, Bob, you know I need clicks. And I'm like, I'll give you a click next time we meet. How's that? It's like, so yeah, no, I am retiring from being under pressure.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I meant. Yeah.
That's what I'm
Good for
doing.
you.
Yeah.
And I feel good about that.
We hope to continue, but we're expensive.
I suppose I can tell you right now, Terry Brooks just retired.
Yeah.
Terry's
Yeah.
a dear friend of mine. We were talking. He said to me, he goes, Bobby, it is so hard now to write a book. It takes me so much longer. And I'm already starting to see that.
Yeah.
I mean, most people don't admit it, but you do slow it down. Although my son still has not beaten me in chess. Oh, I was terrified. I hadn't played him in like 10 years. He plays online and stuff, and he's ranked, and I'm like, crap, I haven't played chess in 20 years. And he's, all right, Dad, let's play. And I'm like, nope. Nope, you're going to kick my ass, and I want to go out undefeated. Finally, he talked me into playing, and I played him to a draw, and he goes, I thought you said you couldn't play anymore. And I'm like, I have no idea how I did that. Not playing again. Who else? Yeah.
I just have a quick one.
Okay.
I bought tickets to the Comic-Con. Their site says that you're going to be there Thursday, Friday. Yours said Friday, Saturday.
Friday, Saturday. I'm going in Thursday, but that's just for dinner with my agent and Del Rey.
About
and-
Saturday.
I have 2 signings on Friday, one at the Del Rey booth, one in the autograph area, 2 on Saturday, one at the Del Rey booth, one at the autographing area, and then walking out of the convention center into the car and driving home. Well, they're driving me home. Yeah, one over there.
Are you ever gonna do another collaboration with your son?
I was just gonna ask that.
My son, no, but he will be working on the Demon Wars game with the company.
Oh, that's
Nice.
But no, because he doesn't want to be a writer. He doesn't want to be a writer. I think he's fantastic, and he is.
cool.
But
How much was like? So I know you guys both collaborated.
he wrote most of that.
Okay.
I did the fight scenes, some of them, and I did the scene where when the pirate Bruno came crashing down on the pirate ship. I said, "You gotta let me write that because I want to see it from a different angle." So that was from the Halfling's Gem. So that was in the Stone of Tomorrow series, the Stowaway that one was.
Now I know
He wrote those.
Okay.
I edited and worked with him on the story, developing the story. He wrote
Oh,
those.
they were fantastic.
He's a hell of a writer. Different than me in a lot of ways, and so it's like we don't do it the same way, but I love what he did. But no, he doesn't want it. He doesn't want to be a writer. He like I said to him, I go, so when I decide I'm not doing it, are you gonna do it? He said, no. His kids are growing up. They're all in school, and he decided, I want to be a lawyer. He already has he had a what did he have? He had a Bachelor of Science in Economics from BU, and he goes, I want to be a lawyer. I think I want to go to law school. Because he says, I want to give something back. Life's been good. I want to go work for the Peace Corps or labor law or something like that, or immigration law or something. He wants to give back.
Right.
He wants to be part of the helping people. And so the little son of a gun goes out and he spends 2 weeks studying for his LSATs. He threw a 180. It's a perfect score. It happens like twice a year out of 10,000 people. Ever seen the movie Legally Blonde? She got 179. Oh, like it's hard? Gina walks in the house and he goes, oh, like it's hard? I'm like, jerk. So he's in law school, and that's what he wants to do. But he's picking up some extra money working with the video game company because he's got 3 active kids. And then, no. So we won't be writing anymore. We designed dungeons. One thing we might do though is he's designed this campaign because nobody's got time to run a campaign for our D&D game. So he designed this setup where you rotate DMs and you have a whole ecosystem where you can make magic items or make gold in your off time. And he's putting that together. And when he's done that, we'll probably Kickstart it together because I'll put my 2 cents in and we'll do a Kickstarter or something if he's up for it. Kickstarters are really hard now because you can't get a Kickstarter done in this country.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
I mean, if you do a board game, right? Let's say you want to do a board game. Have you ever seen a box for a board game? It's all cut out. Here's where you put the cards. Here's where you put the dice. Here's where you put this. Here's how you fold the map. There is not a printer in this country that does them to scale.
Yeah.
For any kind of money that you could possibly get someone to pay for it. So you gotta go to China. And I can tell you right now that so many of the people that you know from the games that used to work for WotC or White Wolf or some of these other companies, that's how they were making a living, they're wiped out.
Yeah.
Overnight, wiped out. You want dice? You've got to fund your Kickstarter 75% more than you were just to make them viable. Yeah, so.
Why some of those like? Sorry, go ahead.
As a follow-up, do you plan on ever, because you were planning a few years ago to do an extension for Demon Wars Reformation, the Hallhard extension?
I don't play anything now.
Is it done, are you just on standby because you were working on it with Gino?
When we did that was when Kickstarter started changing. When I did the first Kickstarter, we did about $90,000, right? Which means that we made a little bit of money because I hired Todd Lockwood. I hired people that have worked, artists that had worked with me at 30. I hired artists. I didn't go to art sharing sites. I hired the crew that used to do the environment art at 38 Studios. They all want to pick up a little extra money. I said, what's your rate? Their rates. So, I'm paying hundreds of dollars for the big paintings or more. I bought the rights to the painting that Keith Parkinson had done for Mortalis from his widow, who's wonderful. Now, I own the painting, I could have done that, but that's not how I work. You work with creative people. We hired someone to do the layout. I printed it in Littleton, Massachusetts, which cost me a lot more per book. But we still made money, and we had a lot of fun. When we did the second one, we were about to fund, and I realized we were going to get killed because we needed to get up, even though I had the funding at like $25,000. To even make it worth our time, we had to double that. And there was no way we were going to double that. And I'm like, what's going on? Everybody liked the first one. And then I went and looked. All the other ones were $20,000, $15,000, because everything was being done from art sharing in China. And, you know, Gino and I looked at each other because Gino was doing that one. Brian wasn't involved in that one. He was already working at a computer game company. And I said, I don't want to do this. And he said, I don't either. So we just let it die. I stopped advertising it. I sent no more notices, and we just let it die. Because I didn't want to do that. That wasn't why I was doing it to work with the people I knew and have a good time, and everybody makes a little bit of money. Everybody gets, everybody can buy each other a beer next time we see each other, that type of thing. So Kickstarter changed then, but now it's gone off the rails.
Yeah.
And I feel so bad about it. There's nothing I can do about it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I would like to expand the game just because you can only play systems for so long, and I really love the Demon War system. My son Brian built that system, and it's really cool because you have active defense. So even when it's somebody else's turn, you can be doing things. It's a very cool system, but it's not big enough. We need to expand it. But it's a lot of work. Anyway, yeah.
Hearing you talk about working with your kids, it's clear that you have a lot of pride in them, and they're very talented
Nah,
folks.
they're assholes.
Does your relationship with those assholes, did that affect this any?
Yeah, it did, because I saw some of the things like, what happens when you have a friend at school and then you find out that they only wanted to be your friend because they wanted to meet your dad or see his office, so they could go talk about it online, right?
Yeah.
What happens when you're, all right, here's one. What happens when you're a philosophy major at Tufts and you think you're going into law school? That was my oldest. And your mom says to you, you want to be a game designer, be a game designer. He's like, everybody wants to be a game designer. He said, then just do it better. And so he goes out, this is a true story, and Mythic was doing Dark Age of Camelot. So he goes on the Mythic boards, anonymously, he's got his little username, and he's telling them, you should do this, this, and this, because they were asking for feedback as they were introducing classes into the game. After about 2 or 3 months of this, he's still in college, they said, when are you graduating, come on down here, we got a job for you. So he got the job. And can you send us like your transcripts and, we have to get a resume or whatever, but we're gonna hire you. He sends it down there, and they're like, are you related to R.A Salvatore? And he says, yeah. Think your dad will come to our convention? But he already got the job. And so that's, by the way, if you ever look up Wubba Wubba, the video that's out there, when I told the Wubba Wubba story for the first time, that was at that convention.
Oh, all right.
And so anyway, then Kurt Schilling, I was working with Kurt on the video game, and he says, Brian's not going anyway, he has to come in here. But then Brian came in 38 Studios, and now all of a sudden, oh yeah, Nepo hire, right?
Yeah.
So he did an internship, unpaid, and no credit at school for 6 months, just to prove himself. By the time 38 Studios had pretty much matured, right before it crashed, Brian was running the mechanical parts of that game, working for the designers of EverQuest 2 and EverQuest, 2 of them. When 38 Studios crashed, they said to him, Brian, you need to go here because this is the place where the pressure is. Brian, well, let me put it this way. Brian's into guitars. He found this guitar store in Connecticut. And I went down with him because he wanted to buy a new guitar. I went down there. So we go down there, and he's in the back playing, and I went walking up. I had my Fleetwood Mac shirt on, and the guy looks and goes, good band. I'm like, yeah, Lindsey Buckingham's underrated. I thought they were going to give me crap, right? And they're like, Lindsey Buckingham's God. They're like, we're having this great time. The manager goes back to talk to Brian. He comes walking back to me. He goes, "Is that your son back there?" And I said, "Yeah." Now, they have no idea that I'm a writer or anything like that. They don't know my name or anything. Nothing. He goes, "He's a big deal." I said, "No." He runs League of Legends.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
I didn't realize that.
Nothing goes in that game unless he says it does.
I thought he was just, I knew he worked on it.
He worked on it, and now he runs.
Nice.
Thank you.
In fact, don't tell anyone.
Oh, you're on live.
He's remote. They don't allow remote, but Gandalf can stay in Middle Earth if he wants to. Brian's a whiz. He is in the designer levels. Brian is, and that's not Nepo. That's Brian. My daughter, who I'm proud of all my kids. I'm proud's the wrong word. It's their accomplishment. It's not mine. I'm happy for them. My daughter was involved with a guy who, she was selling real estate in California. He got his dream job at SpaceX. Some people know this story because it was on my board. He gets his dream job at SpaceX. A few months later, they find out he has bone cancer. He dies 9 days after their son's born. Or their son was born premature. So the son's in the NICU. He died. Katie, through that thing, says, "I want to be." She ran the marathon twice. She's not a runner, but she trained and did it. In fact, the second time she ran it, she stole my Rolodex and called every writer on it to get signed books and do a raffle to raise money. She raised like 50 grand or something. George Martin sent us boxes of books because he's got a movie theater where authors sign, so we had leftover books. So I've got books from everybody. Terry Brooks sends his whole library over. Because the one thing I always told my kids is what you do doesn't matter. The one who wins is who smiles most. And who is missed by the most people when they're gone. Like my brother Gary, I'll never forget this. After I had first been doing well with the books, around 92, 93, I hit the Times, whatever, and I went back to where I had worked at Genrad. My brother had got me a job at Genrad it's a computer board company, testing company from Concord and Bolton and Waltham, Mass. And so I was bouncing around there, and Gary was a field service engineer. And I was in the parking lot with Gary, walking to the building, and one of the wise-ass guys comes out, and he's like, "Hey, Gary, how's it feel? Your little brother's way more successful than you." And I knew that was bullshit. And Gary died in '99. His wake was, the line to get in was like 5 hours. He coached every team in town. Every kid in town loved him, and their parents loved him. Nobody was more successful than Gary. That's winning. And I've always known that. So, proud of my kids? No, happy for them. Find your way. Everybody's got talent. Find your way. Do something that makes you feel good in the morning. This chasing these dollar sign things it's an empty chase. You never win. And I have a very different view in the world than most people because we were dirt poor. I mean, I was dirt poor. My wife grew up, her father got killed in the military. Her mother didn't even speak English, came over from Germany, and worked in a factory to the bone, and had 4 kids, and she had nothing. And I was the youngest of 7. My dad was a postal worker. We were lower middle class and the happiest family you'd ever meet in your life. Still, happy family. But I have a different perspective because when I got this break, lucky break, and it is lucky. Anyone who's successful that says, "I did this," you got lucky. Somewhere, something happened that allowed you to continue. Accept that and be grateful. Where all of a sudden, my income starts doubling year after year. And so I saw how after a certain point, and it's not that high, who gives a crap? So you say, "Why aren't you writing?" Well, I remember when I had to write, I would tape the college tuition bills on my computer. Because I don't want anything. And I don't need anything. Except my chins, my wife, and my grandkids, and my kids. ta-da, I'm happy. My chins, I don't mean these, I mean my dogs. So I have a little different perspective on things like that. Yeah. Yeah, and now I'll be really happy if my daughter does Doctors Without Borders or something like that.
So gaming question for you.
Yeah.
So back when you started putting the books out, I've been reading since the Crystal Shard. D&D was a lot more control, like for races and classes. So where did Drow Ranger come from?
What I said to my editor is, no one's ever done that. That might be cool. And she said, nobody's ever done that. There might be a reason. But since he's just a sidekick character, we'll let you get away with it. I don't know. It was something about. I knew that they were talking about how Drow fight with 2 weapons. I just thought it'd be cool. And Rangers could fight with 2 weapons in second edition. I thought that'd be cool. It was just I thought it'd be cool. I had no idea. And then it was supposed to be Wolfgar's book. Crystal Shard was supposed to be about Wolfgar, and I'm running across the tundra, and the Yetis jump drifts, and Bruna saves him. And at that moment, I'm like, it's his book. This is about him. What's his life been like? He's a drow, and a dwarf just saved him. What's going on here? That's how I do it. Like when I was writing Catherley, it took me 3 books to realize that what was bugging Catherley is he didn't believe in God. And gods in the realms. And he's a priest who's getting all his power from a god, supposedly. But what's bugging him is he's agnostic, right? That's a theme I've been playing with in the books forever, right? Because to me, the gods of the realms are a bunch of meddlesome super beings who send out flyers to the afterlife. And because the more people that worship them, the more powerful they get, right? And
really well with Drow Historian. How many likes can I get? Like each one of them? You did the interview earlier.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. He's great, man. I didn't know anything about him, but he's great. Look him up, the Drow Historian. His videos are awesome. I sent this one about how they should do a Dritz TV show, The Wizards in Del Rey. I said, this is what you should do, you know. I love it. I always thought we should start with Dark Elves, but I like this.
Just don't do live action. No.
You say that, but I put a video up of these 2 guys fighting.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
Dritz,
I've seen it.
and let me tell you something. It was like, is there some computer program that takes what's in your mind and puts it on? Because where did this come from? Don't say that.
I'm just saying, that's hard.
You can always talk to Elon about a neural chip.
Hey, no. My son-in-law actually worked, before he died, worked across the hall from Elon.
Poor guy.
I gotta tell you something. Watching the decomposition of Elon has been incredibly personally painful to me, because when my son-in-law died, that company and Elon treated my daughter like gold. They were wonderful. They were wonderful to Ryan the whole time he was sick. He was in my office back here so he could go to Dana-Farber. They were wonderful. And long after he's gone, even with things like that still involve Caitlin because of the pension or whatever from the company, they have been absolutely the way you want, like a family business would be. So, mixed feelings. Who else got a question? Yeah.
Thank you for popping, first of all. And have you considered maybe on retirement time something like a online master classes of teaching how to write, like many authors do?
You know, it's funny because it's different now.
Yes.
It's different. It's like I won't even use Scriveners. A lot of my author friends use this program called Scriveners, where it'll like keep track of your characters. So if you're going to use someone, it'll come up on the side. I won't even do that. And the reason I don't do that is because when I forget, right? If I forget, what's going on with Patty Bree? What chapter was that? Now I got to go back and I got to look. And the whole time I'm looking for her, I'm seeing other things that I might have forgotten. And I was thinking once when AI was first starting, and people were talking about could it be a helper for an author? And a lot of authors are using it. I don't know about the old school authors, but a lot of the newer authors are using it, not just to write books. But I was thinking one of the worst things to write in a book is the travelogue, right? They're going from the Silver Marches to the Sword Coast, right? And so you got to travel. And that can be incredibly boring to write, okay? And I have this one scene that I was going to write. I forget where they're going. I think it was from Mithril Hall to the monastery or something. And I said, I wonder if I could get Chat. I don't know anything about AI, but I wonder if ChatGPT would write this and I could edit it, just to see. I wouldn't put it in the book, but just to see. And I said, screw that. And I wrote it. And while I was writing this nothing, I learned so much about the characters, the character involved, that I did not expect to learn. That's what writing is. Writing is going back and torturing yourself about every little problem in the book. Because you know something's bugging you, but you don't quite know what it is. And then you wake up at 2 in the morning and you go, aha! And you got to go back 150 pages to find it and fix it. And then fix it all the way through the book. And you have a better book because of it. But I hesitate to teach writing because I know about 50 writers and I don't know any of them that do it the same way. I had a friend, his outlines were longer than my books, and he stuck to them. My outline's this long, because if I don't give it to him, they won't pay me. And as soon as I write the 5th word on the page, I tear it up and throw it out the window and just let the characters tell me what's going on. Everybody has their own style. One thing I will tell you universally, if you're writing anything, if you want to make it better, read it out loud to yourself slowly, like a reader. Don't go, you'll start seeing HTE does not spell the, right? TOT space HE is not to the. You will start seeing all the little typos. You will see all the indefinite pronouns because you'll get lost and you'll be saying, which him am I talking? Wait a minute. Oh, I got to fix that. And that's a big secret is take the time, read the book out loud to yourself. Verbal repetitiveness. Well, did I really say whirling 37 times in that paragraph? You know what I mean? And that will help you. Your book will be better for that process. It's a week well spent. But no, no. Fitchburg State keeps bugging me to go because I do a lot up at Fitchburg State. It's my alma mater down in Massachusetts, and they keep saying, come on, come teach. And I'm like, yeah. The other thing is, quite honestly, one book I always wanted to write was a book about my childhood growing up, because I grew up in a neighborhood that looks remarkably like The Sopranos, without the mob part. We had some, but we didn't have body industry or anything like that. But you had to have a vowel at the end of your name or we kicked you out viciously. But anyway, my friends and I, we were hellions. We had the story. I can sit here and tell you stories for hours about about growing up in our little group of the Florence Street Falcons. That was our street hockey team that we made up so we could beat up other kids with hockey sticks. It was just crazy stories. And I thought this would. And one of my favorite shows was The Waltons. And the reason I liked The Waltons, as sappy as it could be, was because it was telling me about a time that I didn't know. They were growing up, they didn't even have a telephone, right? It was just a different way, it was different. But I always said to myself, who would want to read this? Everybody grows up like this, right? But now I look at the way kids are growing up today, and it's got nothing to do with the way I grew up. It is entirely different. It is entirely different. The information they have access to that they shouldn't have access to is everywhere. Social media, to me, is the biggest cancer that's ever been loosed on society. It is destructive. I keep my Facebook pages because I have to by contract. It is like, people who can curate it properly, it's wonderful. Keep in touch with my sister who's in Maryland. Keep in touch with my sister in Florida. Know who's in the family is sick. What nursing home is Louie in? Something, you know what I mean? That type of thing. It can be a wonderful tool, and now they've got all these algorithms in it, and they know something that politicians learned a long time ago. If you like me and I'm running for office, you'll give me a couple of bucks. If you're terrified of the other guy, you'll give me a credit card. And that's how these algorithms and social media work. And it's destroying. We're driving ourselves literally insane. And these kids coming up trying to navigate this. Good Lord. And I don't have anything to add to that discussion. So if I go to college, I'm here and they're over here, and just bridging the gap would be hard. You see? So I'm not the right person for that. Yeah.
You've spoken about, obviously you've written very, very much, and you've spoken about how excited you are for the prospect of the webtoon. aside from that, if anything, do you have a dream project? And if so, what is it?
Do I have what?
A dream project.
A dream project might be that book I just described, actually. I had two, and then another one would be kind of a science. It's science fiction, but it's not because the technology is actually there. And it just asks. I like my favorite TV shows, The Expanse, right? Because The Expanse is a space story that asks human questions. These are the kind of things I'm interested in. You know, my go-to is still Carl Sagan's Cosmos. But just watching the way the world is evolving and devolving in different ways, that stuff fascinates me. So it would be something like that, probably. And throwing snowballs at cars.
Your fight scenes are some of the richest in the universes right now. And I'm just curious, how much of that is imagination and picturing it in your head, or do you sit there watching Kung Fu movies all day?
I don't sit there watching Kung Fu movies all day. I play hockey. Not anymore, but I played hockey. I paid my way through college as a bouncer. And I am a lover of movement. Before I write a Dritz fight scene, a lot of times I will play Torval and Dean dancing the bolero in the ice dance contest from the 1980 or 84 Olympics. Which one was it? 80 or 84? It was one of them. Jane Torval and Christopher Dean did an ice dance routine to the bolero. I have never seen physical beauty and art to equal that. I've watched it 1,000 times. I've watched Secretariat win the Belmont 10,000 times. I love movement. I love watching an athlete, like watching Michael Jordan or somebody, just get up in the air and have this physical genius that I could only wish I could have 1/1,000,000th of. And I grew up watching Muhammad Ali fight Joe Frazier 3 times. Ali was easily the greatest boxer I've ever seen. It's like everybody else was going in slow motion around him. It's like this, and they're missing. He hits him 4 times, missing. It was incredible. I pay attention to that stuff. I always have. I marvel at it. I play sports. I love sports. I love watching sports. One of my frustrations, and I've told Terry this, so he won't get mad. When I read Wish Song of Shannara, my favorite character was Garrett Jacks.
Yes.
Garrett Jacks was so freaking cool. And the whole book builds up to his fight with this daemon, right? Remember? And then all of a sudden, next time you go back to him, he's sitting on a ledge all beat up. And I'm like, where's the fight?
Yes.
Wait a minute. And then so when I started writing, I decided I'm not skipping that part. Because I know that part. Yeah. And then like when I was going to do Demon Wars, I wanted Benel Zada as the elven sword dance. And all this is fencing.
Yeah.
They have lighter weapons. So you've got these armored men with the big swords. It's like the end of Rob Roy, right? When the little Brit with the rapier is, or the épée or whatever it was, is poking him. And he can't, and then of course it was completely stupid because he grabs the rapier and holds it. You can't hold a rapier. I don't care how strong you are, it's tapered. Anyway. But I love the idea of the elves, who are very small in this world, fencing. So I signed my 2 young boys up to fencing. And while they were on the mat beating the crap out of each other, I was talking to the instructor, taking notes. Yeah. That's how I do it. That's what I do. Pay attention.
Have you ever thought about doing either Mushi or Matron Banray's backstories?
Oh, good God. You know how many backstories I could write? No. Mushi maybe.
What if you
Yeah.
did something like, maybe that with Guinevere and all those
Well, yeah, but I mean, I've done short stories. You trying to get me a contract? I just said I'm slowing down. Although, you know, if I wrote one short story a year instead of a book a year.
That would work.
Yeah.
Yeah, speaking of Terry and stuff like that, and you know, I know earlier we talked about, you mentioned like live action and stuff like that. Now I know they took some of his works a while back and they made a TV series,
Yeah,
and they did it horribly. Now
it was my favorite book from him too.
Exactly, and that's
the Elfstones of Shannon.
Oh.
Elfstones of Shannon is like one of my favorite books ever.
It killed me.
Don't tell Terry I said that.
But
no, he has to know I hate him.
But if you were to do, if they were to offer like a live action or something like that for Driss books, would you want to actually have like creative control in the direction that things go? Like, would you want to be hands on with that, or would you just let them go?
Would they let me?
Willy-nilly
I have no
with it?
idea. You have to understand.
Yeah.
Forgotten Realms is owned by Hasbro.
Yeah, exactly.
Hasbro is a corporation.
Yep.
They do lots of bigger things than
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to be involved.
Would you preference? Would you rather it be something small screen, or would you rather it be films?
Driss small screen.
Okay.
TV.
Perfect.
Driss would be TV.
So like serialized.
They do make a guest appearance in it. Like Steve.
There you go.
Oh, that'd be a dream, right?
Be one of the characters, side characters.
Who would you be? Who would I be? Regis. It's funny, I was watching Nerdiness the other day. You ever watch Nerdiness? A movie about the guy, Vince Vaughn, he opens an Italian restaurant.
Oh my God,
and he hires
yes.
all the grandmothers to do it.
Yes.
My favorite show ever is Freaks and Geeks.
Yes.
You want to see Freaks and Geeks?
Yeah. Yep.
The James Franco, Siegel.
Siegel's in it.
Jason Segel. It's got Seth Rogen and Linda Cardellini, right? Those are the big four that came out of that. Well, like every other guy my age who watched that show remembered high school and would have had a crush on Lindsay Ware, right? I mean, she was like the perfect person. Her old Grateful Dead, that stuff. She was just wonderful, right? So I'm watching Nanas and Joe Manganiello's, and Joe's a friend. I text him. I go, "Hey Joe, I'm watching Nanas. You just hugged Lindsay Ware, and now I have to hate you." Great movie, by the way. Well, it's okay movie. No, it was a good movie. I actually loved it because my aunts could cook. Yeah.
I'm curious, are your profits with selling books, regular books, between that and Kindle, which one's better?
Audible.
Audible beat Kindle?
No, that's total. Like right now, because I have so many books in the series, every new person that comes in there wants to catch up, or people that are going to new book want to catch up, but instead of reading them all, they want to listen to them all. And Victor Pavine is awesome.
Yes.
So like Kindle is like, huh?
Every book he didn't do, I was like,
There were 3 he didn't do, and the reason he didn't do them is because they were done first by Brilliance Audio when the books came out. So they were done on discs. And then Audible bought Brilliance Audio, so they didn't bother re-recording them. And boy, just keep writing to them because I think they're going to re-record them with Victor.
Really?
Nothing against the person that did it, but once you get used to someone's voice, you can't change it.
My least favorite part was Pickle. The way he depicts Pickle, like, oh wait, like I can't hear it any other way. I'm sorry, like, and then you go to this other guy, I forgot his name. He's like really deep, rough. He's like, okay, stop.
Yeah, no, I just hear.
Okay.
So Audible, what, it beats.
No, as far as you're talking about what the author gets, what percentage of a sale an author gets?
Yeah, I'm just trying to understand between.
You get a certain percentage on a paperback.
Yeah.
You get which is a smaller percentage now because they own the trade paperbacks, but you still get more money than you would have in the mass market. You get a better percentage on a hardcover.
I know
And
that.
on Kindle and on Audible, it's very different. Audible has about 18 different ways they sell a book. Is it points? And they have all these like intro things, and it's broke. You can never know. You can never know, like, how much money you're making per unit, because I don't even know how many units with Audible. I can tell you within maybe 3% how many books I've sold, physical books. But I have no idea how many audio books.
or
I've
Kindle?
sold. So I have no idea what the percent, and the percentages are different because on books it's a percentage on the gross. So a $30 hardcover, if you're making 15%, right?
Yeah,
You get your $450
yeah,
because it's on the gross of the MSRP.
yeah.
Even if it's discounted, it's on the gross. For things like Kindle, it's on the net, and Audible is on the how did we sell it, right? So there's no real good answer to that anymore. It's very different.
In other words, you're broke.
Happy. But you know, I mean, I have no idea how many books I've sold on Audible. And you don't even know how many books you sell because they don't even pay for the whole book. You get paid by how long someone's listening now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, then you're welcome.
Well, I actually know of authors who were setting up like computers with like 50 Audible accounts and just.
Sure. Yeah, sure.
I don't do that. I'm old. I don't have the time. Yeah, way in the back.
So when you put your characters down on paper and you got this vision you have of who they are and what they could be.
Yeah.
What artist is your go-to artist that portrays your characters the best? You don't have a single one or okay.
I love Crystal Shad's original cover.
Yeah.
Yes.
Larry Elmore. I love that style to death. There it is, right
Yeah,
there.
that's my favorite.
I love Larry Elmore's work to death. Keith Parkinson was one of my heroes' favorite. I've got the cover of Mortalis hanging right next to my desk. Whenever you see me in an interview, you see the cover of Mortalis right there. I bought it from Keith. I bought it from actually his wife after he passed. That cover means an awful lot to me. Todd Lockwood is fantastic. 1,000 Orcs. First of all, it came out right when the Tolkien movies were coming out, so orcs on the cover, right? And second of all, the cover of the 1,000 Orcs tells a story. I picked up tens of thousands of readers with that book, and I think the cover was a big part of it. And Todd is amazing. He's a brilliant guy, and just a pleasure to work with. I don't tell artists how to art, you know? Don't tell me how to write, I won't tell you how to draw. I can't draw a stick man. I get this, we do e-signing, I get this request, draw a picture of Guinevere for me. Big body, 4 legs, tail. Done. That's all you get. And it sucked even as a stick man, right? I can't draw visually, I am lost. Even though I love watching sports and movement, I took a class in college, message design. The teacher gave me a 3.0 because he felt bad for me. And at the end of the day, he didn't understand it because I was like their top student for the brand new communications department. And I was 4.0 in everything. And I couldn't do it. And he's like, why can't you do this? And he's like, look at this picture. Where does your eye go? To the picture. It doesn't come, no, it doesn't come up. Yes, it does. No, it doesn't. And we went through the whole thing, and you know what we figured out? He got the whole faculty involved in this because they were trying to figure out why I couldn't do this. They wanted to know in case they ran into it again. Because they would teach, there was a course in marketing. You needed to know this stuff, and I couldn't do it. And they figured out because I throw right-handed and write left-handed. Those little physiological differences.
That's actually what I do. Wow, that's weird.
I was in a Gen Con one year, and there were 13 of us writers sitting in a room together. 11 of us were left-handed.
Because all of us lefties are a little crazy.
Interesting thing about left-handed is telling me a lot about what's going on in the world today. One of my favorite things about left-handed, my favorite statistics, right? Statistics are what they are, right? If you torture them enough, they'll tell you whatever you want. But this one I like because all through, when they go through recorded history where they can actually measure this stuff, left-handed people were 2% of the population. Until about 1950, 60. And my older sister was left-handed, and she went to Catholic school. And they would actually whack her with a ruler to make her right-handed. And then my less older sister was in the public school, and she could not get above a C in penmanship, even though she's beautiful handwriting, because she's left-handed. And in my old Italian neighborhood, that was the devil. Left-handed was a mark of the devil. I only throw right-handed because we didn't have gloves for lefties. I'm pretty sure that I trained myself to use my right arm. But anyway, So it's 2% of the population, and all of a sudden they'd stop hitting people with rulers and stuff. And if you look at the graph, it goes like this. It goes right to 12%, and then goes straight. And so I look at a lot of other things I see that are different with kids today, and I wonder how much of it is really different, or if they were just passing in my high school days.
Like ADD.
Any of
Back
them.
in the day, people
Yeah.
with ADD, they just worked with their hands and they were really good at it.
By the way, one of the first reviews I saw of this book is, as a neurodivergent woman, I love Breezy.
I'm only like 3 hours into it and I'm like loving the story already.
Thank you. Thank you. That's something else I studied with this. Because I see it. I see it. And I wonder how many of the weird kids, I was one of them, wouldn't have to pretend we weren't weird. I don't know. I don't have the answers. But I love to look for them. You see?
I love that about your work. It's awesome.
Any other questions before we... You have a question? Or are you telling me get off the stage?
No, well, all right. No. I do
Everybody
want
say hi to Bob.
I do want to do like a couple admin questions before your very last question. But my question is, you just described vivid fight scenes, but through movement
Yes.
and emotion, and you just talked about how you struggled with identifying pieces in a marketing piece. What's your mental picture like? Do you have?
I watch the fights in my head.
You do,
I
okay,
do.
but are you watching with your eyeballs, experiencing them through movement? What?
I watch with my eyeballs, and every now and then I'll grab a sword off the wall. My neighbors think I'm weird. This thing I know. I am one of the best coaches for hitting in baseball. This is the truth. My dad was too, and he taught me a lot. And so I know when somebody's going bad. I will watch them hit, and I will go up to them and I say, "This is what you did wrong." And 9 times out of 10, they bend their front leg when they step. Because as soon as you do this, you have no power. Your weight is all wrong. And I learned this when I was boxing in high school and when I was a bouncer. The only thing that matters is your balance. Everything else is secondary. You can't throw a heavy punch if you're off balance. You can't take a punch if you're off balance. You'll fall down. You can't hit a ball if you're off balance. So that's what I watch. I watch the movement. I see where they are at the end of the movement. And then I say, what do you got to do next to survive? I do that all the time.
So I think we have time for one more question before we jump into that, because I know you all are going to jump up and go. We have a couple admin things. If, like some of you do, you have a lot of books, we will let you get 3 signed. Then you go to the back of the line, and everybody who has 1 or 2 will zip through. And then you usually sign just about anything, right?
Except body parts.
Except body parts.
I actually have done that too.
If you have a lot, we will not be signing yours up front. We're going to get everybody through, and then you can get your sign. There are a couple.
I only
people...
have 10 minutes.
No. Go. We have a couple people here with mobility devices. I'd like us all to wait for just a minute. And I see a literal baby, and I think we'd like them to be the front of the line. I see people with mobility devices. And we're gonna let them be at the front of the line, and then y'all can like punch each other and stuff. But they get out first.
Okay. You had your hand up first, so go ahead.
So as someone who metaphorically speaking ripped into Drizzt, I've not read any of the books. I've literally seen him in the Magic the Gathering card, and I've seen him in some other campaigns. Where should I start? Should I start at book 1?
Homeland.
Homeland. Yeah.
Just don't play the
For
game.
years I would say Crystal Shadow or Homeland. Now I just say Homeland because it's easier, because it's book 1.
That's where I started, yeah.
Hey Bob, don't you have a list?
Where Drizzt is born.
Yeah, there's a list on the page. There's a whole list on the page. The other thing for me is there are 2 other books I wrote that people could jump in, the companions.
Yes.
And this one. And that's one, because this one, but Homeland, definitely Homeland. Yeah. Okay, that was quick. Another quick one? You have one too, I saw.
It was a really beautiful scene. It was very poignant. I think in Exile where Drizzt trusts someone one of our basically says, no, you're not being a very good person, and I don't want to be something by you. And I was just wondering, maybe not that one in particular, but when you were sort of in the thick of it writing this sort of heroic journey, was it fun or particularly memorable to sort of almost knock him down a little bit?
Oh yeah, I've been knocking him down through the books since I started.
For
because
decades.
Gwen is Dritz's mirror. And then his other mirror is Intreri, right? Intreri is who he fears he would have become had he stayed in Menzoberranzan. And Guinevere is when he's, Dritz, when he's talking to Guinevere, is doing the same thing as I'm doing when I'm writing my characters. He's talking to the cat to learn about the world. Yeah. Yeah. I got scared when you said that, though. People come up to me, when you were writing Streams of Silver, I really loved when this happened. Did you mean for that to happen? I wrote that book in 1988. What was the name again? Streams of Silver. Let me think about that. But yes, I actually remember that because yes, Guinevere has always been kind of like the calm down, big boy. You know, we got this. All right. Hey, thank y'all for coming up. I really appreciate
Are you dressed?
No, God. I have said at times that I wish that Dritz is who I wish I had the courage to be. Because sometimes he does things in the books that I would never have the guts to do.
But your journal entries that are written by
Yeah,
Dritz, those are awesome.
My heroes in all of my books share my ethics. Okay? My belief in community in the world and how you treat other people. I watched my dad growing up, and my dad told me stories because, you know, the Italians, when he was a kid, were all in gangs. They all carried knives, and they were really, you know, so I saw it with he told me what he had to put up with. And my dad wasn't like that at all. And, you know, one of the seminal moments in my life, I was watching the '68 Olympics with my dad. And Tommy Smith and Juan Carlos had just won first and third in the relay, first and second. And when they got up there, they lifted their fists in protest because the world was falling apart around us. And I looked over at my dad, who said, "We're Salvatore, not Salvatore. We're Americans. We're American." He went over. He got a Purple Heart fighting in Cherbourg, in 6 days after D-Day. My uncles had machine gun wounds, and from the Pacific Theater. We were American. And I looked over. My dad was crying, and I started tearing. And I was only like 9 years old. I'm like, what the hell, right? I'm like, "Dad, you all right?" He goes, "Yeah." And I said, "What do you think of that?" And he said, "What?" He goes, "Bobby, I didn't go to France to fight for a flag. I went to France to fight for what the flag means. That's what the flag means." Never forgot that. So, am I Dritz? No. Do I wish I had the guts to be Dritz? Yeah. But I don't. Thank you all. Okay.